यथा नभसि मेघो रेणुः वा पार्थिवः अनिले रेणुर्वा पार्थिवोऽनिले एवं द्रष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् एवं द्रष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः यथा नभसि मेघौ रेणुर्वा पार्थिवोऽनिले एवं द्रष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः यथा नभसि मेघौ रेणुर्वा पार्थिवोऽनिले एवं दृष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः यथा नभसि मेघौ रेणुर्वा पार्थिवोऽनिले एवं दृष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः यथा नभसि मेघौ रेणुर्वा पार्थिवोऽनिले एवं दृष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः यथा नभसि मेघौ रेणुर्वा पार्थिवोऽनिले एवं दृष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः यथा नभसि मेघौ रेणुर्वा पार्थिवोऽनिले एवं दृष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः यथा नभसि मेघौ रेणुर्वा पार्थिवोऽनिले एवं दृष्टरि दृश्यत्वम् आरोपितम् अबुद्धिभिः Word to word meaning. Yatha, as it is. Nabhasi, in the sky. Megha Ogaha, the mass of clouds. Renuhu, dust. Va, as well as. Parthivaha, muddiness. Anile, in the air. Evam, thus. Drashtari, the seer. Drishyatvam, for the purpose of seeing. Aropitam, is implied. Abuddhivihi, by the less intelligent persons. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace of Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions on the spirit self. Please repeat. Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons
but less intelligent persons
say that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions of the spirit self. It is further confirmed herein that with our material eyes and senses, we cannot see the Lord who is all spirit. We cannot even detect the spiritual spark which exists within the material body of the living being. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of the living being, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body. So we have to accept the living being's presence by the presence of his gross body. Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes or with the material senses are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called the Virat Rupa. For instance, when a particular gentleman goes in his car, it can be seen very easily. We identify the car with the man within the car. When the president goes out in his particular car, we say, there is the president. For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Similarly, less intelligent men who want to see God immediately without necessary qualification are shown first the gigantic material cosmos as the form of the Lord, although the Lord is within and without. The clouds in the sky and the blue of the sky are better appreciated in this connection. Although the bluish tint of the sky and the sky itself are different, we conceive of the color of the sky as blue. But that is a general conception for the layman only. Thus seems to be Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Veshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasani Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In continuation to the previous verses in this chapter, the explanation continues about the Lord's incarnations. There is the Virata Rupa or the Vishwa Rupa, which is not part of the incarnations of the Lord, as it is an imaginary form of the Lord. So the explanation continues from the previous verse about Virata Rupa. How the ability to discern or distinguish between matter and spirit is brought about here. So in the previous verses, it is mentioned that one who carefully recites the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening, he gets relief from miseries of life. Dukkha grama vimuchyate. When we experience miseries in our life, which is an intrinsic part of the creation of this material world, we always look for solution for getting rid of miseries. A very simple solution is given. Sayam prataha, morning and evening, we have to recite very carefully the mysterious appearances of the Lord with devotion, bhaktya. What is the result? The result is we get rid of the miseries. So that is a stage of liberation, as Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha punarjanma na iti mameti soarjuna. So the activities of the Supreme Lord, his appearance in the material world as an incarnation, are mysterious for the souls here in the material world. And just by carefully reciting the appearances, one gets relieved from the miseries and he becomes eligible to go back to Godhead. So the question comes, just by reciting these verses or the appearances of the Lord, how one can get liberated? So Prabhupada is saying this is not ordinary, this is mysterious. We cannot really comprehend how we get completely rid of miseries just by carefully reciting the verses. There is another aspect to it, not by simply reciting the verses like a parrot, but one who carefully tries to go deep into the subject by spiritual devotion. Only to them this mystery will be unraveled, or the person can discover the mystery. So until unless the mystery is discovered or revealed to that person, one who follows strictly the devotional principles, so there is no question of liberation from material bondage. So this shows that the janma and karma of the activities of the Supreme Lord has a spiritual potency which is mysterious. Only when it is followed with devotional principles, the mysteries will be revealed, will be discovered by the practitioner, and then he attains liberation. So these mysterious incarnations of the Lord are mentioned in this particular chapter, third chapter. Krishna is the source of all incarnations. But there is one more form of the Lord which is not part of the incarnations of the Lord. That is the Virat Rupa. And that is also being worshipped by many people. Especially the impersonalists or Mayavadis, they are very, very fond of Vishwarupa. They talk about Vishwarupa and impress people to worship that. So here Prabhupada is saying in the previous verse, it is to enable the less intelligent or neophytes. Why they have to be enabled? For them to adjust the idea of the form of the Supreme Lord, they need help. So they cannot comprehend so easily, they cannot conceive of a spiritual form. One has become an impersonalist because he is frustrated with the material form, material personality. So he wants to eradicate the personal feature in the person. Now with impersonal understanding, again when a mention of form is made, and that to a spiritual form, due to the atheistic understanding, that person will not be in a position to appreciate the spiritual form. So to make him adjusted to the idea of the Lord having a form, and then initially the form of the Supreme Lord with his gigantic, universal, material, imaginary, external form of the Lord is presented to the less intelligent and neophytes, even though Lord does not have material form. So Prabhupada explains in the purport This Virata Rupa is the external dress of the Lord. Just like we also have external dress, Lord has external dress. And that dress is the dress of Paramatma, who is the soul of the universe, and his external dress showing the planetary systems sometimes to be the legs, hands, mountains and trees to be the hairs of the Lord, sun and moon to be the eyes of the Lord. So in that way, what we already know in the material world, in the cosmos, we relate it to the person, and he has a form, but it's a material imaginary form. And this is not counted among the factual, spiritual, transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada is explaining here in this particular verse, clouds and dust are carried by the air, but less intelligent persons who are abuddhayaha, they think the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. What is the fact? Sky is separate, clouds are separate, dust is separate, air is separate. So what does the person in illusion think? One who is not able to discern what is illusion, what is reality, he thinks clouds and dust are carried by the air, but he thinks sky is cloudy. When you see clouds in the sky, you say sky is cloudy, but sky is not cloudy. Cloud is separate, which is covering the sky to our vision, and he thinks air is dirty. Air can never be polluted. It's carrying dust, and that dust is perceived to be as air is dirty, air is polluted, we say. So this is how a person, one who does not appreciate the spiritual nature or does not have spiritual vision, he has to be given some facility to understand that there is a form which is spiritual in nature. And Prabhupada is saying here in the purport, it's very difficult for us to conceive of a spiritual form. Leave aside understanding Krishna's transcendental spiritual form, our own soul is very difficult to comprehend. What is the difficulty? The difficulty is, the Shastras say, Keshagra Shata Bhagasya Shatadha Kalpitasya Cha. So this hair, we take the tip. Tip is very easy to perceive. We can understand there is a tip of the hair. Now, Shatada Kalpitasya Cha, so you cut it into 100 portions and again cut it into 100 portions. So the 1/10,000, the tip of the hair is the size of the soul. We have to imagine, we cannot really perceive by our logic and reasoning. We have to only imagine, yes, there is the soul, that it is so small, the atomic spiritual energy, which is the soul, is able to electrify the body. So this spirit, so tiny in nature, is detected by the presence of the gross body. What we can perceive now, we can perceive the gross bodies and the mind. There is a mind, we think, there is a power of thought. And one who can go more deeper, they can appreciate that the living entity, the soul, is present in the body. Prabhupada is giving a very interesting example. So we all of us use cars, and then one car is assigned to one devotee. So if from our offices we want to see who is that person who is entering, we see the car, we cannot see the person inside. We understand, yes, Aditya has come in the car. But we cannot see Aditya is in the car. By your car, we are identifying the car with you. And then we are thinking, oh, the person has come. So like that, we are able to perceive the gross body which is functional, and we understand that there is a soul inside the body. And that soul is undergoing a lot of changes and the body is in a working condition, and that soul, through the arrangement of superior authorities, soul has been implanted into different bodies. But who cannot perceive the soul think that body is everything. The body itself is considered to be the soul sometimes, who doesn't understand the spiritual nature. That soul is eternal, and Krishna's body is also eternal. But the soul who is in this body forgets its position and thinks that I am this particular body, and gets deeply rooted in the bodily conception of life. The form, spiritual form, is forgotten, and as long as the soul is in this particular body, the soul thinks I am this body. And once this body is given up, never again we will get the same body. Some other body is awarded according to the laws of nature, and the soul is put in the semina of the father, and soul takes birth, provided the situation in the womb of the mother is favorable. Again, soul gets another body. Like that, different bodies the soul has got. Again, the one body the soul has got, again never that soul gets the same body. So like that, the changes which are occurring in this body is perceived to be, I am the body, even though like a movie which is presented on the screen, it has thousands and thousands of pictures which are taken, and it is formed as a negative reel. And for example, I am drinking water. It's a combination of hundreds and hundreds of photos which are taken, snaps, and then there is one snap here, there is one snap here, there is one snap here. So like hundreds of photos. When it is moved so swiftly, it looks like I am drinking the water. But actually in reality, they are the hundreds and hundreds of photos which gives an effect as though there is a movement. Similarly, this body, we always say our body is growing, but it's not actually growing. It's different photos, or the different stages. The body is changing its pattern, its appearance, and we perceive it to be a growth or movement or anything like that. So that is enabled and enacted by the superior arrangement of the Lord. And with that arrangement, the soul gets so bewildered that soul cannot perceive that I am something different from the body. That is where, when somebody is very deep rooted in the bodily conception of life, it becomes very difficult to comprehend even the soul, leave aside Krishna as a supreme person. So for those neophytes, what is done? For atheistic neophytes, a facility of Virat Rupa is given so that they can relate with the form. For the devotee neophytes, Archa Vigraha facility is given so that we can relate with the deity. So I remember when we were in Delhi, when we were a small center, we were doing worship of the deities for the photos. And it was so difficult for us to maintain the sadhana, maintain good consciousness, because we are not able to relate with the photos for a long time. So then a decision was made, we should have Gaurnitai deities. As soon as Gaurnitai deities came, all the devotees' consciousness improved, because we are able to relate with the deity as a form, as a person. In the photo, even though the same Supreme Lord is there, we are not so elevated to get attracted, to get the perception that the same Supreme Lord, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, is there in the photo deity. So this is how our situation is as neophytes, even in the devotee life. So here, the impersonalists, being very fond of this Vishwarupa, they do not accept the Supreme Lord as a form. And then they inspire everyone to worship the Virata Rupa, and they say Krishna does not exist, God does not exist. It is all this Virata Rupa which is only matter, and one stage this matter will get dissolved and it's only impersonal Brahman. One of the devotees in Amritsar, there was a Pandal program and Srila Prabhupada was also there. Gurudas Prabhu and Giriraj Prabhu. Prabhupada spoke in that lecture, and in that assembly there were a lot of other organizations, many transcendentalists, many spiritual leaders. So all of them heard Srila Prabhupada explaining about Krishna consciousness. And after Srila Prabhupada spoke, Giriraj Maharaj also spoke. And in the camp, there was facility to sleep. All devotees took rest. And the camp where devotees were staying, it was fully filled, and this devotee had to go to other camp where all the other spiritual leaders and other impersonalists, they had taken rest. So he was preparing to take rest. One impersonal Mayavadi sannyasi, he came and he started talking to Gurudas Prabhu. He said, your spiritual master was saying that Krishna is the supreme God and we are all his part and parcel. No, we don't accept. We are all God. I am God, you are God, everyone is God. So then this devotee, as soon as somebody impersonates comes, devotee gets very enthused to crack him down. So he said, no, there is always a difference between spark and the fire. There is always a difference in quality and in quantity. In quality, we are tiny, we are as good as the Lord, but in quantity, Lord is unlimited, we are tiny. So that person was adamant and he never was ready to accept. He went on giving so many reasons. Then finally, he was wearing a blanket. As you all know, these people live simply and then with less cloth and a blanket he was holding, and it was very cold during winter times in Amritsar. So he said, he removed the thread from the blanket. He said, you see, this is a thread and this is a blanket. What is the difference? Both are same. So this devotee thought, while he got some special intelligence from within. He said, okay, it's very cold here. You give me the blanket and you take the thread. Anyway, it is the same. So you keep the thread, I'll keep the blanket. After that, that impersonalist understood, oh, how can I mitigate my chilling weather with this only thread? So he agreed to the point, and the devotee said, for more better understanding, you please meet my spiritual master tomorrow. And that person met Srila Prabhupada and got convinced in the personal understanding of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining in Vishnu Puran, it is mentioned, Ekadesha Stitatagner Jyotsnya Vitsarini Yatha Parasya Brahmana Shaktir Tathedam Akhilam Jagat. So it is said, just like the sun planet, which is the biggest ball of fire in the world, what we see, it is situated in one place, it is localized, but its sunshine is spread throughout the creation. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, even though he is situated in the spiritual world, in Goloka Vrindavan, he is still present even in the material world in his plenary expansion as Paramatma and his bodily race as Brahma Jyoti. He is present even in the material world, and that presence of the Supreme Lord in his plenary portion is ensuring that the whole cosmic manifestation is perfectly running. So we understand, when I am moving, when I or any of us, we have the dress and we walk around, we know this is a dress and I am wearing this dress. But if I just carry a dress which is nicely ironed and it is folded very nicely and move around. We say this is just a dress. There is no person wearing that dress. Similarly, we understand that because of the spirit soul in the body, the whole bodily functions are being conducted so wonderfully without even my knowledge. Same way as the soul of this body, the soul can bring in so much of perfect functionality of the body. Similarly, the whole universe has a soul. The soul of the universe is Paramatma, and that is how the whole world is working perfectly under the Lord's supervision. As Krishna is present in the material world as Paramatma within the heart, even in the atom, so he displays his wonderful activities as Bhagavan, and when he personally descends, he enjoys with his dear devotees, gopis, he performs a lot of pastimes. And when people complain that Krishna is immoral, he is having, he's enjoying with the gopis, and if somebody claims even I can do that, thinking that I am equal to Krishna in an impersonal understanding, that can be counteracted by asking them also to manifest their Vishwarupa or their energy, how the whole cosmic manifestation is functioning without our intervention. So we can ask that person, can you show your Vishwarupa? Can you display, are you present in each and every atom in this universe? So neophyte understanding, abuddhayaha, this is a situation for everyone in the material world, even for the atheists and even for the devotees. Until unless there is extraneous effort put, we will not be able to cross over the mindset of a neophyte. What is Srila Prabhupada saying? Srila Prabhupada is saying that a neophyte in spiritual life is given an opportunity to get initiated from the spiritual master. Initiation is just like a beginning. When we work very hard and then get qualified in the entrance exam and we get a good seat in a good university, it's just I have got admission to the university. Now it is up to the candidate to work very hard, get good marks, be regular in the sessions, and then learn more, read more books, be very punctual, etc., etc. The candidate still has to work very hard in the undergrad program, GAD program, and only then he gets a certificate that he is a PhD or a postdoc, he has completed his research work. So similarly, initiation entails us to get admitted to the University of Srila Prabhupada's organization, and we are now having all the facilities for upgrading ourselves from a neophyte mindset to an advanced devotee. For example, in Bhagvatam class, when we generally start, when we just begin our spiritual life, Bhagavatam classes I used to always see the time, when it is going to end. And especially in Prabhupada's classes, we were first seeing what is the number which is coming there. 90, oh, long class. 45, short class. And we used to meditate on what prasadam is being given there. So this is general tendency for all of us. We are in that stage. But you see Srila Prabhupada's and Shukadev Goswami's consciousness, mindset, how they were intent to hear their spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada choose not to go to the parikrama, and hear his spiritual master. That is the quality. Shukadeva Goswami had 7 days continuously. He's not worried about his eating, his sleeping. Continuously he want to hear. So this is the reference of an advanced devotee, where we get an opportunity, a mindset is created where the taste is naturally developed for hearing. And while in the university, it's very important. Initial days, as soon as we come new to the university, there are a lot of people, varieties of people who have got admitted. Now, we use our intelligence. Whom should I make friendship with? We use our intelligence. Either I make friendship with the last benchers, and then I also become like them, or I make friendship with people who are studious, who are enthusiastic, and then I also become like them. So I remember when I was working outside, there was one person who used to take care of the wireless department. So he is a very good technician in solving problems in wireless technology. And he was the only one person in the department who stayed in that company for a long time, and any problem with wireless in Bangalore city, in that company, wherever that company is providing services, he was the one. So all the time he's on phone solving problems. And there used to be big towers with a lot of signal issues. When there is huge rain, the signal gets distorted. So he has to go and solve the problem. And he was very good at his work, but he had a particular mindset. Always he used to say, problem with the company. What kind of problems are there? And he always used to say he's going to change the job, he's going to quit the company. I heard that for almost 2 years, and he never quit the company. He continued to stay in that. And there were so many of his colleagues who are doing well, who had very good impression about the company, and then they were progressing. So it's all about mindset. And similarly, in devotional life also I have seen in my initial days that even after being a full-time missionary, sometimes I have seen devotees coming to me and saying, oh, this is not good in the temple, that is not good in the temple. When I was about to shift from Bangalore to Vrindavan, I heard a lot of things. So then when I actually came to Vrindavan, I saw everything is good, everything is fine. So it's the mindset. And when our mindset is mixed with devotional aspect and the old habits, the anarthas, those old mindsets, so it creates a confusion sometimes. So purification is rapidly possible when we are able to have selective good association and associate with people who are more enthusiastic, more matured, more experienced, and read Srila Prabhupada's books every day. When there is no inputs of spiritual intelligence, our material intelligence will take over, and our intelligence which is available for us for improving our consciousness will get rusted. So our intelligence should be protected and ensure that we only feed a lot of spiritual intelligence, and that is only possible by reading Srila Prabhupada books every day. We may hear Bhagvatam classes from various devotees, but our personal association of Srila Prabhupada is very, very important. There is one instance where Srila Prabhupada, how intelligently he encouraged one of his disciples. He made them feel that he's worth. He loved them. He showed that he knew all the particular problems of the devotees within the heart. Srila Prabhupada is transcendentally guiding all the disciples, all the followers, And there was a devotee who approached Srila Prabhupada, and then he wanted some relief for all the problems he was facing in his spiritual life. He came to Srila Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, I would like to apologize. I have been so fallen. I am wretched. I never seem to be able to do anything right. I try to give advice to some people, but it's of no use. Because even if I think I am right, I am always told I am wrong. So I want to beg forgiveness. I am so confused. So Srila Prabhupada replied, they criticized Lord Chaitanya and Krishna. So the devotee who is dejected, he was astounded to hear this. He is thinking maybe Prabhupada did not understand his question. So he again replied to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I am not criticizing Lord Chaitanya, I am not criticizing Krishna. I am just trying to apologize. I am so sorry, I am so fallen, I am not better than I am. So Prabhupada repeated, they criticized Lord Chaitanya and Krishna. Even when Krishna was there personally, even when Lord Chaitanya was there, they didn't accept them as a Supreme Lord. Very few hundreds of people accepted them as a Supreme Lord. The rest, everyone was criticizing. And even they threw a pot on Lord Nityananda when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was present. So, people don't like to accept the Supreme Lord. So, what to speak of you and I, Srila Prabhupada is explaining. So, people will criticize. So, the disciple became overwhelmed and understood that Srila Prabhupada knew what is in the heart of the disciple. So, then he asked, what has to be done, Prabhupada, now in my current situation? Prabhupada said, just go on trying. Then the devotee said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, and he left. So we encounter, in our being in part of an organization, we encounter many times some uncomfortable situation. Somebody is criticizing me, somebody is not, something is not good. So all those are opportunities for our progress from a neophyte mindset to an advanced devotee mindset, wherein we start seeing things in a spiritual perspective. Everything will be very clear, and we'll be able to get Srila Prabhupada's personal guidance as we continue to follow whatever Srila Prabhupada has told to the best of our ability. So we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki.